subscribe our channel, stay till the end of the stories for more twist and turn. Comment us about what kind of stories you like to hear. New update: my 26 male, discovered, wife 25 female, having a decade-long affair with her 24 male cousin. To those of you who have been following my story so far, I feel obligated to continue telling it for as long as there are interesting things to tell. If this is your first time seeing this topic, I'll post the original here. I believe this is my fourth, maybe fifth update. Check previous update. Links in the description below. Get out your reading glasses, it's going to be a long one. It's been nearly 3 weeks since my day, and more than a month since my life began to radically change. I never really discussed what sort of order my marriage was in any of the previous posts, but as it is relevant to today's therapeutic typing session, I'll get into that just a little as I go on. If this is the first of my posts you're reading, the TLDR is as follows. I accidentally discovered via Facebook that my soon-to-be ex-wife was engaged in a sexual affair with her cousin, Max. I informed Max's wife of the trouble and she went nuclear, exposing our partners. Through all this, Max's wife and I have begun casually dating. As it turns out, we're quite attracted to each other. I filed for divorce yesterday. Went down to the courthouse and spoke with Bluff Sheriff, the person on the other side of the counter, and filled out the needed paperwork. My STBX and I, in an effort to end this quickly, have decided against lawyers and have agreed on who gets what with no mediation needed. Well, we tried to go to the courthouse today and have her served immediately after I turned in the paperwork. We were trying to avoid the cop coming to her home or place of work to serve her. I'm usually pretty level-headed about things. STBX is also calm and collected, which is not at all how she normally is. She seems almost as eager as me to get it done. Turns out she can't be served in the way we wanted to save time, and so I had to drive her home to her folks. I asked her how things were going despite all this. Her facade breaks a little, and through some tears she tells me she's doing fine with me gone, and only really feels bad when my stepson starts asking for me or gets sad that I'm not around. She comes clean that she's actually been unhappy being married to me since before we had even gotten married. She didn't resent me or hate me, she just wasn't in love with me anymore. Our sex life wasn't the best. We are both very active and sexual people, but we stopped being on the same page a while ago, and we both knew that. I like to pursue, I hate to be chased. She loves to pursue and hates to be chased. Something was bound to break, and we had several talks in our marriage about this. For a while, we switched up our roles so we could both get what we wanted, but after a while, it just turned into me sacrificing my sexual desires to only have sex in the ways she wanted to. Some of the things she wanted me to do I never really liked and never got better at, and seemingly out of spite the things I was good at she spurned. Meanwhile, she would seldom if ever take my requests as time went on. In the middle of our relationship, we had a female live-in roommate that we had a mutual attraction for, and under a strict set of guidelines and rules, she became someone we frequently had encounters with. For a time that put a band-aid on things. The STBX and I, we're a good team. We're good at communicating our finances, and we're good at parenting, as we make sure to never undermine each other and always present a united front. We enjoy the same movies. We are both artistically inclined. I a writer and she an illustrator. We had a million things in common that made us best friends. A good team, but the sexual problems were always there. While this third woman was in the relationship, that tension was gone and we worked perfectly together as those frustrations and needs were met by a third party. Eventually, this third woman moved out and ended things with us on good terms, mostly because she wanted a boyfriend and no guy would go in for a setup like that. It was around this time that Max and Sherry moved into Max's parents' second home. For a few years they had been living in her home state until he lost his job. The STBX says it was then that Max re-established contact with her. They began meeting up just as normal cousins at first, but one day she decided to vent her frustration, probably an invitation, about her sex life, and they started having an affair. They would only meet up around family gatherings and use excuses to vanish. A few of these I'm remembering not being able to find her. We got married at this time, so I can only assume it happened at my own wedding. At this point I really don't feel like listening to this, and the SDBX mentions that she is now seeing a therapist and she wants to treat me like her priest in confession. Everything concerning their affair I was hearing for the first time. I guess it's good that I know the truth, but seeing as it impacts my life in no way, there's really no point for me to be hearing it. She also tells me that out-of-state aunt that died that she cried for a week over was actually her crying after Sherry called her to happily inform her she was pregnant. That means at one point I was actively holding my wife and comforting her as she cried over another man. I feel more betrayed now than I did when I discovered the texts. This was after a weekend where I got to spend 2 whole days alone with my stepson. I had such a good time, and he did too, as it's the longest time we've been together since day. He's 6 and likes Minecraft, and so I got a console version so we can play split screen. Told me he misses me but loves seeing his grandparents every day. They spoil the heck out of him. So, after this great weekend of video games and playing catch, typical dad stuff, I'm really positive about staying at Dad, until she drops all this new info on me. I've got to be real, I'm finding the whole idea of having to be around this woman for the rest of my life, voluntarily, something I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do. As a parent I should be able to get over my own bull and keep a level head for the sake of the child, but circumstances being what they are, throwing in the towel becomes a more and more attractive idea. That, more than losing my wife, more than the betrayal, breaks my heart. I'm going to see him again Friday night and going to see if I can still fight through this. On the Sherry front, I'll keep it fairly brief as this is already way too long. Max stopped calling or taking calls from her 4 days ago, and it turns out he's moved in with his boyfriend. He has a boyfriend. She is going to file for divorce before the week is over and consider her next move. Her brother arrives in 2 days to talk with her and stay for the week. With Max's parents' permission, we've changed the locks on the house because, as rumor has it, Max has been using what I don't know, but all the same better to be safe. I installed a new chain and a deadbolt. He's never been known to be violent, but he's never been known to vanish for days on end, with a rumor being he's into drugs now. When it comes to my relationship with Sherry, we are quietly pursuing a romantic relationship. We're both equally aware that we could just be dealing with our trauma and these feelings might not be 100% real or lasting, but if I can be allowed to be vain for a moment, it's the best sex I've had in my life. I've never been more physically attracted to any of my previous partners, and I find myself at work daydreaming about her toward the end of the workday. I don't think I've ever had such a strong want for someone before, and all told she tells me it's something mutual. I've been back to work this week, and both days she stopped by to bring me dinner she made, and that's damn near the cutest thing anyone's ever done for me. Once again I feel like life is beating the shit out of me at the same time everything is going right. Man, that last part though. That's some real shit right there. I've been following your story for the longest time. I really hope things work out between you and Sherry. Maybe this is life giving you a second chance at being a dad again, this time to Sherry's daughter, if you do decide to take a step back from being a dad to your stepson. You planning on moving, or are you staying in the same place? I go through waves of feelings when it comes to my stepson. I know at the end of the day I want to remain part of his life, but the more I hear from his mother the more I just want to get in the car and drive. I'm currently staying in my regular apartment. Came home from work today and realized how badly I need new furniture. Empty as hell here, which is cool. It's an opportunity to really make the place mine. Yeah, that's true. It could be a fresh start in a way. It feels like it's slowly getting better for you though, but I feel like your SDBX might use your stepson as a weapon if she can. Thinking about it though, I feel like it's killing your SDBX to know that you and Sherry may or may not be a thing. Kinda like an itch in her brain in a way, haha. Not that I feel any pity towards your ex, but damn, that is going to be effed up conversations she will have to have with any new guy she lets into her life about your son. I mean, what can one say? Sorry, but my son's not bio father that I cheated on with my cousin will always remain in his life, and you will just have to okay with that. Just so damn awkward. She won't be honest about it, she can't. She'll probably make up some crazy thing I did wrong or say something bland like we fell out of love. I don't want to meet the scumbag that would be okay with dating her knowing the truth. Really the only one she's got a chance with is Max. Wasn't he gay recently? That was powerful, brother. I feel your pain. I was cheated on by my ex-W. You might not see it because you're too close to the images that you can't see the entire picture. Your STBX did not tell you everything to let you get closure. She said all that to trust one last time the dagger into your heart. She could have told you that sex wasn't good and she cheated. Sorry. Not her. She chose to tell you that she cried that Max gave Sherry a child and not her. I'm a violent man that has done some bad shit in my life, and I can tell you, what she did by telling you was cold, even for me. It wasn't so much that he didn't give her a kid but gave Sherry one. According to her, it was because he and Sherry had been on the verge of breaking up when she got pregnant. So she's sitting there thinking the last roadblock to being a degenerate is gone, and then boom, Sherry wasn't leaving. I hadn't seen it the way you said it, mostly because I was just baffled with how bitter she was getting. Tells me, I thought they were breaking up, but nope, she's stayed in the picture. You've probably heard the whole thing about her getting pregnant accidentally from her already. I know you're fucking her now. Cold sweat. What? Who told you that? Brother, I'm so happy you got Sherry. I think you guys will make a good go of it. I believe you should part from your stepson and focus on Sherry and your new family with her. God bless. I hope you fight harder to stay in your stepson's life. You can tell the ex to keep all conversations about kids only and avoid anything but shared child responsibility. Being told that his father no longer wants him will be nearly as traumatic for the 6-year-old as what you went through. I'm sticking in the fight. I mostly vent my fears here. I said this in another comment, but I love him to death. I want to be his pops, but dealing with his mother makes me want to just drive away. Last weekend was such a relief to finally be able to spend some time with him. He's obviously still upset we're not together anymore, but we had some good times. Ah yes, shared trauma, the ultimate relationship starter. Good luck with everything, and I have no place to say this, but try fighting for the kid. Might be the best decision you ever make, 'cause trust not having one of your parents is never a great feeling. I'll do what can be done for the boy. I'm a stepdad, so I really have no grounds to get custody, but I'll be a weekend dad for as long as I can. I love my time with him. As for the trauma relationship starter, we're both well aware it's not a good place to start, but what we're doing is making us happy. If it's not long-term, bummer, but I'd rather take a chance to build something wonderful than to dismiss someone who might be my true love, just because of the bad circumstances of how we came together. Thanks for listening so far. If story have an update, we will post here. Like, subscribe to our channel for upcoming stories.